Carnival! And welcome to another episode of Tales from the Parade Route. Tonight's a real exciting one for us because it's one of our tools that we use when we're chasing down the parades. We have Adam here from the Parade Pal app. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the app. I know you got to do a live run of it a few weeks ago.
Yep. So Parade Pal is kind of, I guess, a modern re-envisioning, I guess you could say, of the parade trackers that we know and love. I kind of had a thought, I think last holiday season, I was hanging out with my sister. She was in town, and we were, thinking about Mardi Gras, as one does, coming to the year end. And I had thought, had these apps updated at all? Had anything changed? And nothing really had changed recently. And I thought, I do software development. I love building stuff. And I'm like, well, I've never built an app before. Let's see if I could, make something happen. So I kind of threw together a test version of it with just enough time for Mardi Gras. And all in all, went okay. Not perfect, but it allowed me through the rest of this year to kind of start from scratch and start building it up and taking a lot of advice and feedback from people. So it's kind of shaped up to a pretty decent form now coming up for Mardi Gras 2025. So I'm excited about, the new features I have that build upon the idea of the other apps. And I'm hoping it's going to be great.
So one of the main things you're doing, as I understand, is you're tracking both the front and the back of the parade?
Yep, so we should have trackers for both the front and the end of hopefully all Orleans Parish parades. Kind of working out the details with some crews right now, getting some of those contacts in. And something else that we have that's a little bit different that people may not have seen before is, most people are used to the apps that they've tried where, you can see the route, you can see where the floats are. You might get a little stuff like the number of floats, of course, where it's at, what time. But I took that a little bit further and put kind of the history or bio of the crew and the parade. So, even me being born and raised here, I don't know all the history or even some details about all the crews because there's so many. Right? Yeah, I need to read up on all my study. I'll have some information on there so people can learn about, the history in the background, link to their website, some photos, and like some of the marching groups. I know people have their favorite groups, their favorite bands, and so Parade Pal will allow you to see featured groups and marching groups and bands so that you know which parades you want to go to if you really love a certain band. And we've got a lot of ideas in the tank for things I want to do. I won't spill all of the secrets, but I'm hoping people will see it as a slightly newer version with a few more bells and whistles that they might find useful during the Mardi Gras time.
Yeah, I mean, just after a quick look at it, the maps you have are far more detailed than I've seen on any of the other apps. You had the was it, Bio Classic parades coming up, and you had their bio, and I think you listed Landry and St. Aug playing in it. So that's great, yeah. I love the surprise of whatever's coming, but also look forward to, seeing, especially those two bands are great.
Right.
So,
For sure.
we're both doubloon collectors, so if you want to put all the doubloons, which I don't do that. But,
be quite the list, I'm sure.
It'd be daunting.
Yeah, for some of the parades, it's definitely, like Toth and King Arthur. You'd have a list of like 40 different doubloons. Yeah. So, you'd said that for this year, you're looking to have the New Orleans routes covered. Is your long-term goal to go to all of the region, shall we say? From what I understand right now, it's a one-man shop.
Right. Yep. I think you're right. For this year, I think my plan, since it is kind of the first year, I'm still figuring things out, and I am basically a one-man show. the goal is definitely to focus on the Orleans Parish parades, with a few exceptions for, Endymion and that may be in the mid-city starting-ish area or what have you. But yeah, eventually as things grow, if people like the app, if I can get some more support, and I get enough good feedback that helps me continue building it, I will definitely like to expand, because I know people have given feedback in recent years on some of the existing trackers that, they wish they had, more coverage. Some of the smaller parades that are just like walking parades that may not be like your traditional bigger cruise.
Yeah.
Those would be really cool too. At the very least, I would like to have all of the parades listed on the app, even if I'm not able to track them. Maybe no promises on that for this year, but eventually that would be the goal. That way, you can still go straight to Parade Bell and look up all of the parades, regardless of whether we're tracking them or not, so you have all that information in one spot.
That'd
And-
be tough with a lot of the walking parades because their routes
Yeah.
happen to change the day before the parade a lot of times.
Right. And I think that's another area, I'm glad you said that I think I can hopefully improve upon too, because, sometimes the weather changes something, they cut the route short, or they switch the start or something, and oftentimes that isn't reflected on some of the apps that we've used before. It's a little harder sometimes, I think, maybe for them to get that updated in real time. So I'm hoping if I can stay informed enough, I should be able to push changes in real time and also send alerts to
I was
people
about to
on the
ask if
Parade
you would
Pal
be
app.
able to send any
Yep.
sort of alert,
And I think I have a couple other ideas too with that, on like, sending alerts for weather, of course, if the route changes, and some other ideas that will benefit the app and all its users, essentially by people being able to provide updates at some point. So if you see that, something happened that stopped the parade route, or something to that nature, in the future, I would like to maybe have a way to allow people to maybe not communicate like a social media, but be able to send updates in such a way. That way
saying
everybody
Float 4
can know
broke
what's
down,
going
or
on.
there's
Exactly.
a wild horse or something on.
Exactly.
at-
Somebody hit a tree again,
Right,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah. Sure, you can go on social media and find it and stuff, but if you're already looking at the tracker and you're like, okay, why isn't this thing moving for the past 30 minutes? It'd be cool to just see right then and there why it's not moving. Yeah.
Have you had any of the crews so far tell you that they would be able to provide you with those live updates?
I haven't asked for that specifically. I've spoken to a few crews, just like trying to initiate some contact and, start building some relationships. But no, they haven't really mentioned that exactly. My only thought for right now would have been for me to manually just look on social media, and, if I'm not at the location on the route, I'll just have to be, really keen to whatever might have happened.
Right.
Just kind of keeping my eyes and ears open. But yeah, if I can kind of maybe crowdsource some of that and let people send updates, that would be cool. Not implemented currently, but could be a cool feature if, people want to contribute to the app.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to get it to where more people even would be using your app if they can give a live update with regards to parade hold up, shall we say?
Right, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I know we would volunteer for that, but I bet you a lot of the dance crews, they know kind of immediately what's going on.
Right.
Bet you those guys would help out.
It's a good thought. I will keep that in mind too.
Not to give you any more work to do.
Yeah, I definitely have my work cut out for me, but yeah, I definitely welcome all thoughts and ideas, because, I've got plenty, but there may be plenty good ones that I haven't really considered, that could be really cool.
Have you been able to see the response to it from the crowd so far?
Yeah, so far we did Caribou, which was like the first real live test. We had one hiccup where I just put the tracker a little too far into the parade route, which is okay. That's an easy fix. But in terms of like the technical aspect and the app supporting, I think it was close to 1,500 people just for that one event. In my opinion, from a technical aspect, it worked flawlessly. And my, big worry was, can this support, many, many, many people on it at the same time? And is the tracking going to be accurate? And those two things check those boxes. So I was pretty happy with that. Gotten a few reviews. I got a few emails from people, with suggestions. Had a few crews, or groups rather, reach out to get their group listed on the app, which was really cool. I think that was shortly after that article came out. The Disco Amigos were one of them. And then a group from Canada that was in town for the Crew doing their marching and music. They reached out and said, could I be in the app? So
Yeah, that's a cool group. It's an older marching band, but they look like they're having a blast.
the Top Hats, is that what you're talking about?
I think so.
Yeah. They emailed me and I was like, sure, I'm happy to feature y'all. So I was really excited that people were hearing about Parade Pal, and I was just excited to, help showcase all these great groups and stuff.
Well, I mean, for us, it's exciting because we rely so heavily on the parade trackers when when we're bouncing in between. Sometimes we're hitting 3 and 4 different routes in one day. So to have a reliable track showing us where the front and the back is, because as much as we try to make it to the front of every parade, sometimes traffic's a bitch.
Yep. It happens.
We'll get stuck and we'll see. And with the current selection, a lot of them don't have that rear end of the parade. And, we'll see, the parade is at the end, at the front, but all that tells us is the parade's at the front. It doesn't tell us
Right.
what time it got there, and then we
It
can't
just
see the
got
back.
there, yeah.
So, it literally could be, the tow truck or whatever that has the tracker on it in the front just got there, and meanwhile there's the full parade.
Right.
And, so to see where the back end of the parade is for us, it lets us know, hey, are we going to be able to make it there and enjoy a decent amount of the parade, or are we going to fight to get to a parade and then just watch the garbage trucks at the end pass by?
Right. Exactly.
That is an awesome sight, though.
Well-
The cleanup crews are
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, they got that.
Especially like some of those big days they come by, it's cleaner than it was before the parade. I've always been blown away by that.
Yeah, I remember for several years we would go to a friend of ours' house for the Wednesday before Mardi Gras. And we would stay in front of her house, and we would just hang out by her for a little while, waiting for the traffic to die down, and we would see that cleaning crew pass,
Come by.
and just watching that efficiency to where,
They have it down.
when the parade
Right.
ended, it looked like a bomb went off,
Right.
on Napoleon Avenue or whatever. And then 30 minutes later, it literally looks like they just put new concrete
Right.
down, and
Yeah, it's pretty impressive how efficiently they do that.
I do love the evolution of the trackers, though, because when I was growing up, it was a skylight. That's what
Right.
we had.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, oh, there it is. Go down a couple blocks,
Right.
And funny enough, the guy that owned all those skylights lives right behind me.
Oh, really? That's
So like,
funny.
if we're at a party once in a while, he'll just light them up. But no, but going from that to you would see the little cars for 'em, but some of the walking parades now have bicyclists that'll carry the trackers. But I love that it's now becoming a thing that it's really better tool that you can use and see as much as you want to and kind of plan around for it.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I'm just kind of a nerd, fascinated with technology. So I always thought it was cool that they had this idea to do a parade tracker, and as I've kind of grown a little bit in my career and just experimented with different development and things like that, I thought it would be really cool to figure out how something like that works and how I can maybe do it. And I'm just really excited about, the opportunity to build this and hopefully just hear from people and get a lot of good feedback about what people want, because, I don't think technology needs to, like, I guess, be involved with everything, but in a certain way, if it's done right, it can be a really useful and meaningful tool. So I'm trying to expand on that idea, but not take it to where it's like, too bloated and extreme. I just want to add some usefulness and listen to hear what the people want.
Yeah, I mean, we're real excited about it. It's available on both Google and Apple, correct?
Yep, on App Store and Play Store for Google, search Parade Pal and you'll be able to find it. And I'm hoping to have, some updates along the way over the weeks leading up to Mardi Gras. So definitely stay tuned for updates. Make sure you're on the latest version so you have all the newest bells and whistles.
I know that some of the apps also will share like their position stuff on like their social medias. Are y'all going to be doing that as well?
I think I need to up our social media game a little bit. I think I will try to post like, what parades we're tracking, if there's any notable updates and things like that. I will probably be pretty preoccupied making sure that the tracking is working and the
Right.
app's looking good, but I would like to, use that more and also communicate, parade updates and information to people on, our social media and stuff. But just kind of trying to have to take things step by step right now just to make sure I get everything hopefully working. But definitely a lot of ideas I have to, incorporate and do those types of things.
So I really thank you for coming on with us. I mean, and thank you for making the app. I mean,
Sure
like I
thing.
said, as hardcore users of the current app, and there's definitely features that the current apps don't supply that you are. Makes me even more excited to be able to click open Parade Pal on my phone when it comes down to carnival time for sure.
I'm glad to hear that.
So thank you again for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So-
Appreciate it.
Signing out. We will see you on the route.